Still at the Olympiad against now Aldo Haik.
Yeah, he was a French player. This time France had a good team, not as strong as team from today. Now they are between the first 5, 6 in the world. You know, they have a very, very strong team, the French team. But then they had good enough. I mean, the team was good enough, very dangerous tactically, you know, all of them. And everything could happen in any game. So this is a very nice example because we played the Benoni. I played Benoni with black. It was very sharp, and in one moment it was a little bit unclear, but later on it was very beautiful. We'll see. So, okay, the opening is very clear. The first moves, I mean. Knight c3, g6, e4, bishop g7, bishop d3. This is a little bit different as any other game that we looked before in some other encounters, because white doesn't play with knight f3, he plays with the knight in g2, knight g2. This is a very important alternative where white tries to come a little bit later on the king's side. So the move order is very important, starting from here already, you know. So after knight g2, e6, castle, and I took in d5, and he took with e. With this is positional. It's better to take with the other pawn, with c, because it's more complicated. If he takes with c in d5, it's very unclear, you know, for both. Both has, I mean, black has a very good idea on the king side, on the queen side, and in the center with knight bg7, queen c7, c4, and so on. And white tries, in meantime, to play on the other side. That's my game against Quinteros, for instance, as you remember. I played with white, and it was very, very sharp, and finally white could win a very beautiful game. Okay, so after e takes d5, now knight g4 is probably the best move. Black wants to have a good control on the square e4, which is important in any line in this opening, you see. After knight g4, he wants later on, if he has the possibility, to play very quickly f5. This is the idea. Okay, after knight g4, he played h3, knight e5, and now, okay, now knight g3 and f5. So what to do now with white? You see, if you try to play on the other side with rook b1 or something, like in any King's Indian, black tries to play immediately f4, f3. And if he achieves this, I mean, if he can play f4, f3, he has already a very strong attack on the king side, you know. So now the normal move is f4, but after f4, black has time to take in d3, Now black has two bishops and a small edge already after the opening, equalized completely, and has a small advantage, you know. So rook e8, bishop d2, but what to do? Knight a6, this is a good idea. We play on the other side, on the king side, queen side, pardon, trying to provoke later on some small weakness, I mean pawn structure, and we try to do something related to b5. I mean, if you have time, we try to come with b5, with a6 or b5, or b5 immediately in some lines, you see. So knight a6 is a good idea. Okay, knight a3, knight c7, no, bishop d7 first, yes. Rook, king h2, white is waiting. Okay, white is waiting. Now, queen f6, we control the big diagonal. It's always very good for black. So bishop e3, he's waiting again. There's nothing to do with white. It's clear that white is a little bit worse, has to wait, you see. So bishop e3, knight c7, and now he played bishop f2. He's trying, he hopes to come something with bishop h4 later on, maybe, but it's very long time. Until you come to h4, you have to play first knight e2, knight g1, knight f3 to prepare bishop h4. You know, it's a long time. Yeah. So black has time to do something quickly, and now after b5, as in any other line from this opening, where you sacrifice immediately the pawn, the third move we play b5 is a Volga gambit, you know, Volga Benko gambit. We remember some other games.
Yes.
And now you give the pawn, but you have a very strong initiative. Later on,
So
you take
this-
back the pawn.
This gambit works even
here,
later,
yes,
later in
because
the game?
everything is forced. White has to take the pawn, of course, now. And now after rook b8 is clear. Black, if you has time to recapture the pawn, has a clear edge, big initiative, better game in any position, and two bishops. And in any open position, if you have two bishops, it's very important. You have a very nice game, always. See? So, okay, he tries not to give immediately the pawn, but we continue the idea. We play a6. Now, if you take in a6, it's bad because you open completely the position. You have time to take in b2. No? It's not so good. So he has to wait. Has to come back with the position, and now everything is clear. We recapture our pawn. We have advantage, we have initiative, and we try to play for win, Okay. So everything is forced. He took back, we took in b5, rook a5. Now what to do? If we take in c3, we are better, but maybe it's not enough. This is the problem. Because we don't have too many pieces, and he has one line, we have the other line. After knight takes c3, b takes c3, we have the B line for us, but he has also the A line for him. Maybe he can save the game, So, of course, now the idea is to retreat the knight and to show that white in this position with our two bishops, we have the possibility to attack two weaknesses, the pawn from d5 and the pawn from b2. Therefore, white is clearly worse here, and has to defend very precisely, to avoid something unpleasant. So, rook a7, active move, queen d8. You have to show how to play with black. You are better, but it's very important how you continue, you see. So, queen b1. He tries, he hopes to come on a2 and have control on the a file and, maybe somehow to save the game. So, okay, queen b1 a little bit strange, queen c8. Now we want to take control on the B line completely, or in some positions to be able to trade rooks, and have control on d5 again and on b2, you see, with our queen. So, okay, after queen c8, as I told you, the move order very important, and now rook b7. Okay, so now bishop a4. Finally, he put the bishop in a very active position in h4. He threatens maybe now bishop e7. So now you have to play something very precise again. Bishop f8 is a very strong move. Now I played bishop f8, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, bishop f8. So the only possibility for white was to attack the pawn from d6 with bishop e7. If he comes to e7 and you are forced to play bishop f8 later, the advantage is not so big anymore, So bishop f8 is important. Okay.
So you gave up this big diagonal?
For the moment. Later on we can come back, of course, yes. So bishop f8, now queen b8. We attract the pawn from b2. Now he's forced to trade the rook in b7, because otherwise it's completely lost, So now it's clear. We have control on the b file, and he doesn't have any possibility to react on the a file, of course, now with his rook there. So now it's clear that black has many possibilities, tactical possibilities to continue. So, okay, after knight f3, we played
H6.
h6, yes, h6. Now we took the possibility to come with the piece in g5, for instance, knight g5, knight e6, that was the idea for white, Somehow now, again, time trouble, very unpleasant. We have to find some good moves, you see, here with white. So bishop d8, trying to do something, tactically. So now, but in reality, black wants you to come to d8, because now he wants to come to b5 anyway, you see. So knight b5, now everything is clear. Queen b3 is more or less forced. And after queen b3, queen b8 is also a very good move, because now we attack with tempo the bishop from d8. We have to retreat the bishop first, no? So the only move bishop f6, and now we have time to move the queen on the central square. Now the advantage is very clear. We have the control on the e file. We have control on the two weaknesses, b2 and d5. Even we didn't capture something for the moment, but the position is already strategical. The position is lost for white, you see, here already. So now it takes b5. We took the bishop, and now, again, I told you, very big time trouble for both. And now the decisive move, queen e2. Now you look at the position. We have the immediate threat, bishop c4. He can resign. He loses the pawn d5. If he loses the central pawn d5, everything, is crushed for white, the defense. So he played knight h4. He tried something on the other side. And after king f7, everything is defended. Again, you have to find the move, queen a3. And after queen a3, bishop c4, it's clear he loses the pawn from d5. There's no defense anymore, you see. So queen a7 check and queen a7 check, queen e7. Now, queen a4, because if he takes in e7, we take back with the bishop, we attack the knight, he has to move back, and he loses the pawn. And everything is clear, So here, queen a4, bishop takes d5, and he resigns.
Yeah. Yes.
Strategical lesson again, you see. It was very clear, little by little, you see, little by little. In a few moves later on at the end, it was decisive, you see. The small edge, always
become bigger.
Yeah, bigger, and decisive, yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're welcome.